Christian Mack of Omaha, Kira Montiel of Papillion, Vern Hickok of Cairo, Mildred Moody of Gehring, Blue River Arts Council in Crete, Nebraska Land Bank in North Platte, Lincoln Industries in Lincoln, Cinderlyn Meredith of Seward, Deb Zobel of Ashland, Sally Harms of Wisner, Senator Diana Shimmick of Lincoln, and Rick Weimer of West Point. Serve Nebraska thanks all nominators, nominees, and sponsors for helping us celebrate volunteerism. To learn more about the Step Forward Awards and this year's honorees, visit serve.nebraska.gov. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known, but what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico,
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
This October, the Bonsall Spooktacular 10 event is back with spooktacular savings all month long. Stop by anytime in October to discover incredible deals, including hot tubs as low as $5,995. That's up to 20% off MSRP. Plus, enjoy 10% off infrared and traditional saunas. Don't miss out on these hauntingly good offers. Visit Bonsall Pool and Spa today. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better at 33rd and Pioneers.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Education is a cornerstone for strong, vibrant communities. I voted for the largest investment in education in Nebraska history. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and understand the valuable role of education in growing our community. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I will continue to support education in the legislature. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as always. If you guys want to join in on the show as we are live on the brick and mortar, Royals are out of the postseason and there's no NFL on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So that brings us live to Ticket Weeknights, 402-464-5685. You can join in using that Sarver Heyman text line. You can also put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Allo Channel 961. Speaking of Allo, shout out Allo for understanding the importance of exceptional service with a local heart as we bring in the morning Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. DPE, how is it going on a Wednesday night?
It's going real good, for game week, getting back to, simpler things.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it. The Bears got a bye this week, so I won't be watching them.
Oh my God. Here you go. You just had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Oh, I'm going to be obnoxious about it. As long as the Bears keep looking good, I'm going to sneak that in there every chance I get.
Y'all played the 4 worst teams in the NFL, and you beat them. Congrats.
You thumped them. You didn't just beat them. You thumped them, and you did it convincingly, as any good team should.
Who's not thumping them?
Wow, now there's been some. I'm sure there's been some close game outside of the Panthers. Hey, the Panthers got one win when they took out Bryce Young finally. But they've all been some close ones. The Bears, we're not going to go there. I feel good. Let me be happy about it. We're going to talk college football instead. DPE, I want to start doing with some picks. And then I think midway through, depending on how much time's got, and you guys can join in on the text line, I want to do some grades for this Nebraska staff midseason. Not necessarily players, but the coaches and maybe a few facets of the actual offense and defensive side of the ball. But before we do that, let's do some college football picks because, like you said, we're coming off the bye week. We're back. And I want to start with the Big Ten, and the Big Ten in particular. So the first game, it's a Friday night game. You can call it a trap game if you want. It is on the road for the heavy favorite in Oregon. Oregon on the road to a sleepy West Lafayette. Well, it might not be sleepy. 7 p.m. I'm not sure. Maybe it's rocking a little bit. Any chance that Purdue can pull off a major upset?
They can, but I mean, it might. It's small. I mean, the one thing that Purdue and Oregon have in common is that they beat Ohio State at some point in time. So it's potential there. It's definitely a track game coming off of riding the horses, and that's a game you might overlook at Purdue. So it's potential. It has potential to be definitely a trap game.
Potential for sure. And Purdue does a good job of getting that title as always the trap game. It's not necessarily a situation you want to have all the time because it means you're not that good in and out, but they do have that opportunity to go ahead and upset. Are you actually going to pick them though? Are you sticking with are you sticking with Oregon?
I'm gonna take Oregon. I want to be wrong. I like this is the one time where I want to be wrong, but I'm gonna pick Oregon to win this game.
Yeah, I want to be dead wrong. I want the Big Ten cannibalization to start, and I want it to start with a Pac-12 school, a former Pac-12 school with Oregon. It's great. I will say, adding Oregon, you're adding a lot of money. You're adding another really good team to the Big Ten. I just don't want them to be number one right away. So I would love Purdue to just go ahead and cause some chaos. Up next, we do have Nebraska, Indiana. We're not going to talk about that one just yet. We'll put that one on hold. This game's interesting. I think it's more interesting than people realize because Rutgers just got boat raced by Wisconsin, and it looks like Wisconsin finally found their identity. But they gave up 40 to Wisconsin Badgers, who's really been struggling on the offensive side of the ball all year. UCLA on the road facing Rutgers.
I mean, I got Rutgers. I think Rutgers is a more dominant team. So I'm going with Rutgers in that one.
Yeah, I am as well. I couldn't tell you exactly how that Wisconsin game got so far ahead of them, but it reminded me of what Illinois looked like playing Nebraska last year. Just for some reason, the team did not look inspired that day. Maybe a little bit of hangover from the Nebraska loss, losing into the undefeated. But I do think UCLA, they see it as an opportunity. I'm sure practice was brutal with the result that they got, going back to square one on a lot of stuff. So I do expect Rutgers to bounce back here. Foster, he might be able to pull it off. I don't think this is a crazy chance of an upset for UCLA. But I'm going to go with you as well. Rutgers, I got them taking this one and being at home too. Now, if they were on the road playing UCLA, I might think a little bit differently. But then being back in Rutgers, Piscataway, I like my chances with them. Now, this one, in my eyes, is probably going to be a good chance to be ugly because Northwestern loves to do it to teams. And they're on their makeshift field, and it is starting to get colder. Wisconsin, the team that just boat raced Rutgers, they got to go up to a cold Northwestern makeshift field. You got any chance? Who do you like?
I would like to see Wisconsin lose, but I don't have the faith in Northwestern. I don't think Northwestern can really compete just on that level just yet. Maybe if they'd have caught, Wisconsin probably within a game or two after Bama, I think, because I think this would be what the third game I think after Bama, or maybe if they'd have caught it sooner, right after Bama, I would be more so leaning that way. But because Wisconsin looked dominant this last go about, I think they're kind of settling in and just figuring things out. So I got Wisconsin beating Northwestern.
I think I'm going to take chaos in this one. I'm gonna take Northwestern. I like it. I think Wisconsin are riding high, thinking that they got everything figured out. I think this one's going to be chaotic because even against Indiana, I mean, you look at the final score of that, and you're like, man, Indiana, well, not even a close game. They killed them. It was actually not until the very end, late in the game, where you see Indiana find a way to close. Now, Northwestern still gave up all those points at the end, but they were actually in it. I feel like this might be a comeback down to earth game for Wisconsin, very much like what it was for us when that 1 year we put, 50 plus points on Northwestern and blew them out the door in that historical 3-win team, the quote unquote best 3-win team, whatever fun label you want to put on it. I see something pretty similar here where I think Wisconsin is coming off a really big high. And this is a trap game. In my eyes, and just being at that makeshift field, I encourage anybody to go watch a home Northwestern game. It is a odd atmosphere. You're right by the water. The wind's always miserable. It's always blowing. And like I said, it's getting colder. Nothing's impossible. I mean, we saw Kentucky push Georgia to the very end here. I think this is a game where I like my upset here. Give me Northwestern over the Badgers. Moving on, Michigan versus Illinois. Illinois at home.
Would that be a trap game if Illinois wins?
This to me feels like an even match. I don't even know if it's a trap game. This feels like an even match, knowing how far Michigan's fallen from last year.
Yeah, but I don't. Michigan is built tougher on defense than I would say than Illinois. They're just not very explosive on offense. And Illinois' offense necessarily isn't anything flashy or anything that I don't think that the Michigan defense can handle. So I think Illinois is favored in the game if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, being at home too, they get the nod.
I grew up, then I got the upset. I got Michigan beating Illinois.
Yeah, we're agreeing too much. I got Michigan as well. I don't think. I mean, look what Purdue did to Illinois at home last week. They're a physical team. They weren't necessarily anything on the offensive side. A missed mistake, to the flat route with the running back or the man in motion. Illinois loses, and I think Michigan is, regardless of what you want to say of what they look like, they still had people that was on the roster that was on that national championship team that are of caliber to play. So I think Michigan will be probably pissed off and out for blood with this one. I think so too. I think this one I think it's even matched. I think the spread simply is Illinois at home, makes sense. But I think Michigan is kind of on like their last legs of we got to prove it that we didn't just completely fall apart here. And I think they're going to be upset heading into this one. I think they are a more physical team. Whatever it was when Nebraska faced Illinois, that was our least physical game. For whatever reason, we just didn't look like we were guys hungry for it. Maybe a hangover from the Colorado game. We kind of gave the rest.
It was a Friday. It was a Friday. It was everything was pushed up. I told you, off schedule.
Yeah, and you were right because everything looked off schedule for the Huskers that day. There was only a few bright spots. The offense they got 30. They got 30 points. I mean, they did good enough. Or excuse me, not even. I think they finished with low 20s as Illinois got the overtime touchdown to push themselves over 30. But it feels like Nebraska kind of gave the blueprint to everybody else. Like, this is how you don't play defense against Illinois. And a lot of it was miscommunication as well. It wasn't all on just the X's and O's. There's plenty of it where the players were just not on their assignments. But ever since then, it feels like Illinois has had a hell of a lot harder time closing out a lot of these games. And I think Michigan's going to take advantage of that. Moving on here.
For sure.
We both got Michigan. This one's fun. This is one where you might not have eyes on it, but I think you should. USC at Maryland. This is a long journey for USC as well to travel all the way out there to Maryland.
I mean, it's pretty much what Penn State had to do last week. Mm-hmm. Now, the difference when you go typically from West Coast back to East Coast, you feel you stay up a lot more. You're more awake just because like it typically at your clock is up later. I really want to pick Maryland on this, and I hope they do pull out the win. I think it'll be big for the program. I think Coach Locke is moving them in the right direction. If Maryland makes it a physical game, which Maryland has sort of become more like a Big Ten team, more so than an ACC team in the Big Ten. They're playing Big Ten ball, and I think this is a trap game for SC. I want Maryland to win, but I think USC will pull it out.
Yeah, I got USC as well. I don't. They impressed me versus Penn State.
I'm calling it then. I think Maryland will pull it out.
All right.
I'll take Maryland on that one. Like I said, SC got to come to Maryland, got to go to College Park. It's not the greatest of things or whatnot, but I think Maryland has been putting athletes out. They've been consistent for the past couple of years. They look good, and I think this will be a bigger task than what SC is thinking that they're getting themselves into.
Hope you're right. I think this will be fun. I think you're going to see what does USC look like after a tough loss? Are they scrappy or are they deflated a little bit, especially off a long travel? But I was impressed by that Penn State game. I thought Penn State was going to be able to bully and be more physical, and you give credit to USC. They really held on there for a moment, and Penn State starts coming back. USC is more physical than I expected. I think they're going to be able to handle Maryland.
We seen it with Oregon and Ohio State last week. Oregon was juiced up. They were throwing haymakers and whatnot. So it's different when you're playing the big games. You got to be on your P's and Q's. You got the extra momentum. You got the extra, okay, this is a good game. Everybody's going to be watching. This is, helping my draft grade. Maryland isn't that type of game. You coming back to the East Coast with a physical team that it may not look like it. I mean, Maryland, the first couple of games, were kind of on fire. People were talking about them a lot, and they kind of just fell off. So you come in, at home where I'm not saying it's not technically I wouldn't say it's an easy place to play. It's something, it's a college that probably gets overlooked or whatnot. But to them, if, they lock up against you, you got a lot of kids from the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area all over or whatnot. You got, these highly recruited guys coming in or whatnot. This could be, a turning point for Maryland if once they win this game, just to, reintroduce themselves to the world.
Well, let's take a look at Maryland football because they were in those games with Indiana where, again, it looked like the game was actually pretty close if you watched it, but Indiana finds a way to pull it out 42-28. But Maryland had it going first. So let's take a deep dive on Maryland, just to get an idea of like where they're at so far this season. So their first game was UConn, 50-7. No problems there. Then they did lose to Michigan State 24-27. They beat Virginia 27-13. They beat Villanova 38-20. And then again, like I said, they lose to Indiana 42-28. Then they lose to Northwestern 37-10. And this is kind of why I'm a little high on Northwestern too, in that upset I mentioned earlier. I feel like Northwestern's starting to get some of their swagger back. But it feels like Maryland's kind of been on the downswing, and USC is going to be a tough matchup. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the travel.
But I mean, SC is coming off of from playing a juggernaut.
That is true.
And as you just said, you said Maryland. Who did they play? Who did they just play last? Who was
Northwestern, and they got destroyed by him.
Okay, but Northwestern, that's more of a Big Ten style game.
Yep.
Like that's a physical game. That's not a high profile. That's not Ohio State.
I see the angle you're taking here now. Now I see the angle you're taking with Maryland.
You got. I think it's the right mix. Like I said, you got a West Coast team, and it's a little bit colder probably on the East Coast. You got a 3:00 game, and you got to play over in this, and you know what I'm saying. So the weather isn't going to be outrageously cold, but it's probably going to be somewhat near uncomfortable or slight to where, it's a little frigid out here. That stadium, once the sun goes down, it gets cold fast. So, like I said, I think it might be, just a perfect pot stewing to get to surprise a battered SC team. They shot their best shot last week, fell short, and now we playing Maryland. We going to they might overlook it. I don't necessarily know where the team is staying. I don't know if they're staying in D.C. I don't know if they're staying at the National Harbor. But I mean, you got that distraction with a lot of kids probably not having been, on the East Coast or, in the D.C. area, which would be pretty close. So, like I said, I'll take Maryland.
All right. That's too where we got when it comes to this Pac-12 joining the Big Ten. Like, there's certain situations where I don't like it, but something about a USC on the road all the way across the country to play Maryland sounds enticing. It just feels like there's a good element for chaos there, because it just looks so foreign and weird, and you're never going to get that without this whole thing going down with the conference realignment. So you got USC, or I got USC, and then you have Maryland. The last game, 19th, Iowa at Michigan State.
Michigan State. I'm never choosing Iowa. Michigan State. Don't care.
All right. I'm not going to tell you no.
I mean, they are two similar teams. Offense is kind of hit or miss. You don't necessarily know what you're getting. Defense, for the most part, has been good. I think with Michigan State, I think, their offense kind of put their defense in worse situations just with, not being sufficient and, moving the ball down the field. But they're a young team still trying to find their identity. And this is something to where, you do have athletes on your offensive side. I know Iowa's defense is strong and whatnot. But they're still not flashing the way necessarily that we've seen it in the past. I mean, they're winning Iowa type games. I mean, the last game that they had, I don't think that it will be many games where they get over 40. So, I got Michigan State winning that night game in Sparty.
Yep, at the Woodshed.
Yeah, I'm taking Sparty.
Well, obviously, everybody who's listening on the radio hopes you're right now, unless you got an Iowa fan driving through. But yeah, I don't like Michigan State's odds. Just Iowa always finds a way to Iowa it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick them either, but I'm going to do it. I'll take Iowa. I won't count it against you though. When we put these together and we compare it, I will not count this one because you said you'll never pick Iowa. Fair enough. So Oregon, Purdue, we both got Oregon. Then you go to UCLA and Rutgers. We both got Rutgers. Then you go Northwestern, Wisconsin. I picked the upset. I like Northwestern, a lot of what they did off of last week, and especially being at home. I like the environment. And then we both take Michigan over Illinois. And then I take USC and you take Maryland. And then, like I said, I got Iowa. You got Michigan State. Won't count this one against you, though. So we're 2 games separate. We'll figure out at the end here who was more right, or maybe we're both just miserably wrong on a lot of this stuff, but someone's got to pull out at the end here. And that's kind of going to wrap it up here for us on college football picks in the Big Ten. We might throw a few more out there throughout the entire land of college football, but I do want to save some time and go ahead and give some grades for this Nebraska football team, in particular with the coaching staff. So we'll do all of that next right here on the Don't Punt Hour. We got the morning Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. We'll do some more of this up next in a little bit.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the #1 selling complete post-workout product, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out, exercises, or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today, try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: frost likely this morning, then sunny, breezy, and much warmer this afternoon. We'll see a high around 64. Tonight, clear skies, and it will be breezy. See a low around 45. And tomorrow, sunshine returns. It'll be windy and warm with a high around 74. Meteorologist Kyle Cook for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Des Moines Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour. Des Moines Pierson-El, the former Husker wide receiver, special teams threat on the Allo VIP line. If you guys want to join in, use the Sartor Heyman text line. And again, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. If you want to put a face to the voice, that is a great way to do so. And Des Moines Pierson-El, I wanted to save this for the very end here, but I got to tease it really quick here because you're a Chicago Bulls fan, correct?
Correct.
And today is the official return of Lonzo Ball after 3 years. 3 years that guy has gone through injury. He's officially back. I know it's just preseason, but I wanted to shout it out because he is currently 2 shots, 2 threes, 2 for 2. It's good to see him out there. The shot didn't go away by any means. I haven't been able to actually watch it, see how he looks athletically. But this is the return of Lonzo Ball, which maybe you're not that excited, but kind of that entire Bulls roster, that's when that whole thing blew up, was when he got injured. And then, of course, AC, Alex Caruso at the time, who we traded for Josh Giddey, he gets injured shortly after, and then Zach LaVine goes through some issues. And that's when that whole thing, from number 1 in the East at one point, with that healthy roster, with Lonzo Ball at the point guard and plenty of defensive weapons around him, to pretty much just being forgettable. So hopefully this is a good sign for things to come. Lonzo Ball's healthy again. Hopefully the Bulls can get back to some sort of relevancy. All right, that's enough on the NBA. It's just preseason after all. Let's do some college football grades for Nebraska football. They're coming off the bye week. We're mid-season, and we'll just go ahead and start with the head coach himself. Head coach Matt Rule, if you had to give him a grade for how this season's gone so far, where are you going to put him and why?
I want to give him a B. There's always room for improvement. There's some things that kind of happen. That Illinois game, you can argue, people saying, stuff about being outcoached. Overall, you put people in the right places to do a job and whatnot. And for some odd reason, the offense has looked at what the same way it has since, the early on games. And, as we are, halfway through the season or whatnot. So I'm going to give him a B. It's definitely positive. I'm not, mad. I'm not, bashing anything or whatnot. But, I mean, there are definitely things to improve, which is why he gets, the B.
Yeah, I'll go a little nicer. B+, B is fine as well. I'm kind of in that ballpark area. If you beat, Illinois, I'll give you the A-, maybe even an A. But, you did drop that one. I think that's a game you could have won. But there is improvement. So, and shout out to Dave Fiat. He does this every year, and this is kind of where the idea comes from. He breaks it down into gut opinion as well as how he factors out these grades. And I think it's, we wrinkle that in as well. Like the on tape, everything I see, the team's better. I mean, the win-loss, we're 1 game away from bowling. Took a lot longer last year to get to this point. And gut opinion is I like it. I like Matt Rule. I think he's the right guy. So that's why I can give him a nudge with the B+ there. I don't have a whole lot of negative things to say. It's kind of nitpicking. So I think that's where he certainly, for me, B+. I'm good with either of those. Coach Matt Rule, not a bad grade mid-season. Moving on, probably the best grade, probably the Dean's List. Defense, Tony White.
They get an A. I mean, not having a rushing touchdown against you this deep into the season, I mean, that has to account for something. You can go back and look at some of those great Alabama teams or whatnot, and at this point in time, I'm pretty sure somebody scored a rushing touchdown for that. That stat alone, is up there. We've had people go down, in the secondary, people stepped up. The list can go on. Like I would nitpick at certain things, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got a top 10 defense. I'll give them an A+. Either or, it don't matter. I mean, it's not gonna change from it being 1,000 to it's not gonna be a 999.99. I mean, A is an A. So that's what he gets from me.
Yeah, I mean he's a A+. Again, you can go back to that Illinois game. I think. It still goes on White, right? But I think a lot of it was X's and O's and bad execution for the most part, not necessarily his defense. So I'm not going to hammer him for that one. Gut feeling says, I'm a little bit scared because my gut feeling says we're not going to be able to retain him. He's too good. He's probably going to be a head coach somewhere next year. I hope he sticks around, but he has been fantastic for us. And yeah, no rushing touchdown still. We're mid-season. We haven't given up a rushing touchdown. That's an insane stat in itself. I don't care if we played you and I every week. To not give a rushing touchdown up, especially when you've had situations where that Rutgers game where you get a horrible special teams disaster and they get it on about, the 2-yard line, and you shut it down, and they go for it on 4th down, and you shut it down on 4th down as well, all right there in front of them, only had to get a couple of yards and then weren't able to do it. He has just been fantastic. And the thing that really gives him that A+ for me is it's his ability to develop depth. It feels like whatever guy gets hurt, someone comes in and we're like, who is this kid? And even if we do know, we're still amazed by how well they're plugging in. Tommy Hill goes down. All right. Sierra Wright plugs in. And now you're having questions like, should Sierra Wright start? And then James Williams. No one really knew who his story, what he was about. He comes in there, big 90, and he really is the closer for that Rutgers game. So he is able to just have this talent underneath the starters, continuously develop. And when they get inserted to the game, you don't see hardly any drop off. If a drop off at all, sometimes you see improvement. So it's an A+ for me. There's no question about it. Tony White, hopefully he's a Husker next year, but he's just so good at his job right now that he's going to get a ton of phone calls as soon as the season gets over, as soon as it's legal. He's just could have happened last year, and he came back for another one, maybe in part because a lot of the players decided to come back. But yeah, Tony White, A+. Hopefully he's a Husker for longer than, just this season. But I got a feeling he's, like I said, that phone's going to be blowing up. A lot of people are going to want Tony White attached to their program and probably at that head coaching position. All right, moving on to the tough one. Special teams. Are they in risk of failing and dropping out of the university?
They're at a D, and I'm being nice. I'm being nice just because of some of the plays that guys have made and the consistency of that. With making plays, some of the field goals have been off, but I remember at some point in time, extra points was difficult, for us. So the extra points have been there and fine and whatnot. Punting, the blocks and whatnot, overall have to be better or whatnot. But I'm giving them a D. It needs improvement.
Yeah, I'll go D-. Like there's some things that got fixed from last year. That's why you're not failing, right? It's like the student showing improvement in the classroom, right? He's doing better. He's trying a little bit harder on his homework, passing stuff in on time. But it's just been bad.
It's not failing. They're a block punt away being taken back for a touchdown from an F.
Exactly.
Like if that happens, it's F. Like it is just F. Yeah, they haven't given up any hidden yardage points or hidden yardage scores on that. So a kick wasn't blocked, taken back for a touchdown. Extra point wasn't blocked, taken back for a touchdown. A kickoff return, a punt return. So none of that has happened. So they're just in a need improvement type situation. We've seen it happen. We know that they can do it. They just need to execute it at a higher level.
Yep, and it's that part for me, right? It's like we are one disaster away from, instead of being 5-1, 4-2. And that disaster's happened multiple times where, again, luckily you shout out the Dean's List Tony White. The defense has just been so good that even when you have horrible situations happen, your defense is good enough to stand ground and not give up any points at times. So, worst case scenario, they've been giving up a field goal. If I'm trying to think of one where we actually led to a touchdown, but the defense just steps up over and over and over again. But yeah, we are, and we'll talk about it, especially tomorrow. This is what scares me about this Indiana game. If it's close, we are one bad special teams play away from losing ball games. It's going to catch us.
This game makes me nervous because not only are we coming off a bye, they are coming off a bye. I do not like that. You are well rested. You've had an extra amount of time to go over things and whatnot, to create certain things. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, it makes everybody nervous. I think this is a hold your breath kind of moment for Husker fans. Because Indiana, yes, they're a good team. Absolutely don't want to take anything away from Indiana. But if you're Nebraska, you want to say, we're a good team too. And if not, we're even a little bit better. Like, we want to believe that we are truly on the climb, that with the teams we're playing wasn't just weak opponents. Outside of Colorado, I think we just really jumped on Colorado early and kind of took the life out of them. But, there's still some left to be proven here for Nebraska football, because the season really doesn't start until we get to late October, November. Then you kind of figure out who this team is. And this is the first step. You got an undefeated Indiana team. You got Cignetti with all the quotes in the world. Google me. I don't want to have to Google him if he beats Nebraska. Like, this is one where, it scares everybody a little bit, because Indiana, they've been in a lot of ball games where, yes, going to Northwestern or Maryland, where those games were actually close. The coaching has been good enough to find a way at the end to absolutely not just shut the door, but slam it on the opposing team's face. Like, their ability to close out games has been phenomenal. And that has always been the biggest problem for Nebraska football is, can we close out ball games within 1 point, one score? And Indiana has been doing it by 14, 17, just completely taken off at the end. So there's definitely some fear there. Let's move on here. Satterfield, offense. Give me the grade. I'll go first on this one because I think I've been making you go first every time. I'm going to give him C+. It feels like untapped potential is kind of where I'm at.
I'm the exact opposite. I'm gonna give him a C-.
Okay.
And it's exactly what you just said. You said untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not, simple concepts? Why are we not stretching the field with, the tight ends or Jalen Lloyd? We've done it at times. It just hasn't been consistent. You either play a good first half or a good second half. The first month, with a freshman quarterback, maybe I can understand that. But you 6 games in and it's still the same type of thing. That's a little bit concerning. And it's like, what's going on? You have all talented pieces and whatnot. And it stepped up from last year. I'm not someone who's saying, "Oh, run the damn ball every time." The box is stacked, So you got to create other opportunities other than just running, to the flat and having Fedoni just catch it on a wheel and turn. He hasn't done any flood route concepts. He's barely done any seam concepts or anything like that. I think you have a lot of variety, a lot of special group of guys from the wide receiver room, the tight end room, and the running back room to where you can do some things. Tap into that a little bit. Like it's just, I understand keeping it simple for, the freshmen or whatnot. Well, you got some time to kind of throw in some wrinkles. He's been here since this spring. So come on now, you gotta take the training wheels off and let the kid loose. You can't just keep it on him and keep calling the same things and think like that's gonna get you over the hump every single time. It's gonna come back to bite you at the worst time in the year.
Yeah, and I think Rutgers, it almost did. It doesn't feel like a super complicated offense to keep up with. And like you said, you got great players all over the field. And my whole thing, especially with the tight ends, you nailed it for me. It's like, if we're going to keep hearing how great of this athlete Fedoni is, which I believe he is, and how skilled and talented, why are you so limited on what you do with him? It's very basic on how they use the tight ends. And it's like, if you're so high on this, then dial some things up for this elite tight end that you believe is a real gem on your roster. You're using him like he's just an average tight end. If he's just an average tight end, then say that in the media. Don't go on a high horse and talk about how great of an athlete, how great of a talent is, how he's one of the better tight ends in the Big Ten, because you're not using him like one. And that's kind of where my untapped potential comes from. It's like, if you got all these great players and you're talking about how great they are, dial some stuff up and let them go ahead and make some big plays. Even in Dylan Raiola's case, let him loose. Like he's shown at this point, he's a hell of a quarterback. He's accurate. He can throw at all sorts of angles. Outside of that one pick against Rutgers, he hasn't had any, I want to rip your hair out. What are you doing? Like, he's been very solid with his decision-making. So trust him. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't think it's bad. There's certainly an improvement from last year. And it's to me, it just goes to the untapped potential. So I'm not saying Satterfield needs to get fired or anything like that. There has been improvement. It'd be a horrible thing to do right now in this situation. For
sure.
But my gut feeling isn't great on Satterfield. And again, that's a gut feeling. If you actually look at the numbers and all that, it says things are getting better.
He's not doing a terrible job.
No,
he's doing good, but there's still a lot of meat left on the bone.
Yeah.
And if I'm not so sure if it wasn't because of our defense, I think those games would be different and would have went differently. So it's like, yeah, you get the win and everything like that. And it's just, nitpicking or whatnot. Like I said, there's still more out there. And I know they've had penalties. I know they had touchdowns called back. I know they've had other stuff. But, I mean, you got that part, and then you got guys that you're still just aren't using, which is crazy. I mean, people were raving about the Banks kid, and honestly, we don't use him much.
No, and it goes back to being very simple designs for him. Like, they're not asking him to – I don't know how to say it. It's like they're not dialing up plays for the best players. Is the best way I can put it. Outside of Ja'Cory Barney, you're not seeing a whole lot of creativity there.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. But we both give him C's.
I'm saying C- because you're supposed to be this, big time OC, and it's. I'm waiting for it to turn up, so that's why I'm at the C-.
Fair enough. I'm going to still go C+ because I have seen a lot of improvement and just building off what a disaster was last year. And again, the injuries certainly were a big part of that.
Yes.
So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. But hey, C's, C's get degrees.
They get degrees.
Yep. And in this case, you get to keep your job. And that's kind of where we're at with this whole thing. But we'll throw it to break here. On the other side, I do want to get to the line of scrimmage. I want to get to the trenches. We'll do Terrence Knighton, pot roast, and then Donovan Raiola, offensive line coach. And we'll assess the trenches and the coaching staff there. So don't go anywhere. Dump Punt Hour, DeMorney Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. We'll talk to you on the other side.
With a wide variety of menu options, including the best prime and Wagyu steaks in Lincoln, if you haven't been to Tavern 180, you're missing out. Try any of their steak options paired with one of their well-known martinis, and this will soon become your favorite date night spot. Call your friends for a casual get-together where steak, shrimp, chicken, and tasty cocktails await your arrival. Tavern 180, located next door to Tanner's at 30th and Yankee Hill.
A commitment to volunteer service is one of the many things that makes Nebraska so special. Volunteers give their time, energy, and resources, and they ask for nothing in return. The Step Forward Awards ensures they're recognized for all they do. Those honored this year for the impact they've made in their communities are Gretchen Mack of Omaha, Kira Montiel of Papillion, Vern Hickok of Cairo, Mildred Moody of Gehring, Blue River Arts Council in Crete, Nebraska Land Bank in North Platte, Lincoln Industries in Lincoln, Cinderlyn Meredith of Seward, Deb Zobel of Ashland, Sally Harms of Wisner, Senator Diana Shimmick of Lincoln, and Rick Weimer of West Point. Serve Nebraska thanks all nominators, nominees, and sponsors for helping us celebrate volunteerism. To learn more about the Step Forward Awards and this year's honorees, visit serve.nebraska.gov. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more, plus porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
This October, the Bonsall Spooktacular 10 event is back with spooktacular savings all month long. Stop by anytime in October to discover incredible deals, including hot tubs as low as $5,995. That's up to 20% off MSRP. Plus, enjoy 10% off infrared and traditional saunas. Don't miss out on these hauntingly good offers. Visit Bonsall Pool and Spa today. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better at 33rd and Pioneers.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did 0% with roof credit.
Wall-to-Wall Wine & Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine & Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the #1 selling complete post-workout product, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out, exercises, or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today, try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Don't Punt Hour with the former Husker, DeMornay Pierson-El of Nebraska football. And we're going to finish things off with the line of scrimmage here. So we got 2 grades left to go. I'm curious on these because I think these are, one's easy, one's a little bit tougher. So we'll start with the easier one. Defensive side of the ball, Terrence Knighton, pot roast. What you can give him for his grade midseason?
I'll give him a B+.
Okay, I think so too. Anything to add on that?
I mean, I go back and forth between a B and a B+. Your 2 top dogs have been double teamed pretty much, and you've had some other guys that have been hurt. Now people are coming off an injury, but they're still doing the thing. I mean, the D line is a pivotal part of a goal line stand. So, or them not, having. I don't think no running back has went over 100 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Either.
No, Manungai looked like he was going to be the guy to do it, and then after that first drive, he pretty much got shut down.
I give them a B+. Like I don't have it's nitpicking of stuff. But I mean, you're doing your job. They're doing things, So he's great. I have honestly not much, or if any, to complain about.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna give him A-. The big one again for me is the development. Like we saw that with 90. I was really impressed. It's just like he's able to pull these guys, and if you want to factor this in, but the way they love Knighton as their coach, I think that stuff matters. And the guys really rally around him. And when they need a big stop, as we see on the goal lines, we saw at the end of Rutgers and Colorado early, like when we need to get in the backfield, he seems to be able to get his guys ready to go. So I've been impressed with him.
He's the type of guy kids want to go and play for, like that, and you love to have those type of guys in the building or whatnot. And the whole message and everything that came out with stuff. That's great. So like I said, he's good. I don't have nothing to, and I like how he be on Twitter, trolling and everything like that. So he good with me.
Yeah, he's more than good for me. I was at like a B+, which even that might be a little bit too low. But again, the gut feeling says like he's A- for sure. I love what he's been doing for the Black Shirts. All right, Donovan Raiola, offensive line. This one's tough. I'll let you go first. What's the grade? The most veteran group on this team too. I think it's important to remember.
I'm stuck between a C+ and a B-.
Okay, that's better than I thought.
But my honest to gut reaction, I'll give them a C+. For the most part, they've kept things upright, other than the Illinois debacle with the guy literally from his standstill position ran straight down the middle, and that wasn't technical. Honestly, that wasn't the offensive line's fault. The running back should have slid to pick him up. His eyes was in the wrong spot. They have been surprisingly a lot better than what I thought. It's not, and even with the injuries there and whatnot, they've done enough to get you to win. They seem like they're gelling and whatnot. People, they stacking the box. They know Nebraska's a different animal when the run game is involved. It keeps everything on track. So I'm not putting the run game not being there up to them. Of course, there's always room of improvement with stuff, which is why I'm giving them a C+ and not a B.
Fair enough. I'm actually going to go lower on this one. And, I'm just right in the middle with him. I'm not entirely sure. I would give him a C just because the line has looked good. But it absolutely should with how many starts you got across that board there. Yes, you did have a little kink, but that's every year, especially when you're talking about the offensive line where you might have to move someone around. You should be dominant. Like, you should absolutely be dominant just based on the experience and the guys you have on that offensive line, and they've been good. So, again, like, I don't think, he's a big issue. I don't think the offensive line is the area to point to about, like, the Illinois loss or anything like that because, you give up plenty of points on the defensive side of the ball. But for me, it's you should be dominant there, and you've just been good, which is fine. You're still going to win ball games with a good to average offensive line. But that's going to wrap it up for us. The only person really in trouble flunking out here was Ed Foley with the special teams. Everyone else graded out pretty okay. DPE, appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again tomorrow and really do a deep dive on Indiana football. Off the field with Kendall Lanier up next. We'll talk to you in a little bit.